The first application in Dallas came from the It'll Do Club on Elm Street in the near east part of the town. In fact, it was so early that by 9 o'clock this morning, the application had already been dropped at the Alcoholic Beverage Commission office, and the applicant was gone. But applicant Albert McKool walked Channel 8 News through the application procedure, which really in Dallas amounts to a little more than dropping the application off. Then it stays here for 5 days while the commission investigates to make sure the club should be allowed to sell liquor by the drink. After that, the application goes to Austin, and pending board approval, liquor by the drink should be in this club, the first in Dallas, by probably early next week. I talked to Albert McKool in the club about what he expects liquor by the drink to mean to the club.
I'm going to tell you one thing. I have been to a lot of golf tournaments, and I play in all in the world, but I'll tell you one thing. This tournament here is so far above all others as far as hot pants go that it's unbelievable. I guarantee you, and my wife comes with me every year. Can you believe this?
Well, the President in his budget message recommended $1 million for further improvement of the Trinity Canal project. The Corps of Engineers are capable of doing $2.5 million worth of work in the next fiscal year. we're going to meet with our Senate delegation and the Congressional delegation at 10 and 2 respectively tomorrow, requesting $2.5 million worth of funding.
What do you think at this point are your chances of getting it?
I would say there would be rather good. We have quite a contingency of mayors from the Dallas and Tarrant County areas and further down the Trinity all the way to Houston.
Are you going to cite the example of the Oklahoma waterway in your request?
Yes, and some others, and the benefits for the entire community as a savings in freight rates on the millions of tons of cargo and material that will be moved. We will benefit the savings on the freight rates whether or not it's moved on the canal or not, because the railroads and truck lines will have to be competitive so far as rates are concerned.
My husband just went to see about getting a place for us. But other than that, we're just trusting in God.
What did you think you would do? Had you made any kind of plans at all as to what would happen if this actually came to this?
Well, he said today that if it come down to not really getting any help at all from anybody, that he'd find us a place to sleep at night, and we'd go on a job with him when he goes to work in the morning in the daytime, till he could get enough money to find us a place.
What about food and milk and that sort of thing for the kids?
Well, I do have canned milk and powdered milk, both for the kids, and some canned food.
When you came from California, what were you looking for in Dallas?
Well, our main objective was to get our kids a little growing space. It was too crowded in California. We wanted to get onto a pretty big piece of property where we could grow our own vegetables and things like that.
What kind of luck have you had since you came to Dallas 10 months ago?
It's been pretty bad.
Do you look for things to change?
Yes. We're looking on the bright side.
Even in the midst of all this, out in the afternoon sun with everything you own sitting on this front yard, do you think you can keep your head up and make your own way?
I still have faith.
Mr. McCool, what effect do you think the application will have on the club here?
Oh, I think it's going to go to the best. We've been looking forward for these mixed drinks for years, and I think it's going to help.
What are you going to do to the club to get ready for mixed drinks?
We're going to do quite a bit of changing. We're going to set up a bar here, then we're going to set up another bar back in the back for the dancing part, and we're going to start doing all this remodeling in the morning, and we should be through by the weekend.
Do you expect a lot more people, or do you just expect the drinking habits of your customers to change?
Oh, I think the drinking habits is going to change. People are going to have to get used to it since they can't bring the bottles in the place, and it's going to be a change. You're going to see new faces, and old faces are going to go somewhere else, but it's going to be to the best.
I keep getting mixed emotions. I don't want to be up here or down there.
What do you figure that'll do to Dallas and Fort Worth as a trade center?
I think it will be a great economic impact, because with the completion of the regional airport, and possibly if we can get a mass rapid transit system along with the Trinity Canal, this will give us a total transportation system for the North Texas area.
I don't know what my role will be exactly. The purpose of the trip by this overall group is to seek additional funding for the Trinity River project. Additional funds are needed for the final design before getting into the actual implementing of the program, beginning construction. I do feel that the Trinity River project is of great importance for future water supply, for flood control, for ecological, environmental reasons, and I, of course, have always supported it.
Of course, Congress has already voted funds for preliminary designing and planning. Do you feel that this is a foot in the door?
Apparently it is. However, I gather that additional funds are needed. The Trinity River Authority people have appealed to the people all along the Trinity River for their assistance in this project, and that's why we're going.
What do you think the chances are of having a canal at the Trinity in the near future?
I would say they were good. I don't know what what you're thinking of about the near future. I expect it to happen in my lifetime.
Now, at this time, we have 5 congressmen in Texas on record to repeal this law. We have 29 senators in the country on record, including the top leaders of the administration and the top Democratic leaders. We'd like to see Senator Tower and Senator Benson join these other 29 senators to get rid of this kind of a law, because it stands in direct violation of our rights under the First Amendment. If the black and the brown and the poor and the people who want peace are going to be able to succeed, they've got to be free of the kind of fear that comes to mind when you think of an American concentration camp law.
Saw some of the thick butt shake shingles begin to fly off of the building, and then we saw the cross that sits on top of our building. It's made out of 4x4 lumber as it was just twisted off and thrown to the ground. And we decided that it was more than just a wind as we began to see the actual swirling of the leaves and the trees and the huge branches that were coming by in front of the church. So we got everybody out of the auditorium into the hallway.
Well, the Dallas Police Department's got the same situation, but they haven't gotten this sort of consciousness yet. What we want to do is encourage this sort of consciousness and say it's time for them to start spending their overtime hours, if they're really interested in serving the public, in establishing contact, setting up their own public service programs, weeding out the police officers that are not competent to be dealing with the public as a whole.
What about the steps that they've already taken in that regard?
The steps that they've already taken, we haven't seen any results. I mean, these steps have been taken over and over again, you know, through the years.